Good day to you one and all, it is I, Justin Hawkins, and this is Justin Hawkins Rides Again. Today I'm talking about Guns N' Roses, not for the first time, but for the first time I'm going to be talking about one of their absolutely brilliant songs from their first record, Appetite for Destruction. Probably the greatest debut rock album by any band ever, do you think? Use the comment section to tell me I'm wrong. Justin Hawkins rides again. Okay, so it's from their debut album Appetite for Destruction, 1987, and released as a single in 1989. It's the only song on the album to feature a synthesizer. Is it? Where's that then? I can't wait to hear that. Ranked at number 459 on Rolling Stone's 2010 list of the 500 greatest songs of all time. I remember that list coming out and being controversial, not because this was so low on the list. I mean, it's got to be on there somewhere. It doesn't really matter where it falls, but I think there was some glaring omissions and some stuff in the top 10 that was frankly baffling. Anyway, some publications, such as Ultimate Classic Rock and Spin, have identified the song as one of the band's worst, writing Paradise City runs out of ideas halfway through its triumphant first refrain, and yet still lasts for 6 more minutes. How long is this song then? Guns N' Roses formed in LA in 1985. In their early years, the band's hedonism and rebelliousness drew comparisons to the early Rolling Stones and earned them the nickname the most dangerous band in the world. Guns N' Roses, dangerous to who? Guns N' Roses have sold more than 100 million records. Guns N' Roses have sold more than 100 million records worldwide, including 45 million in the United States, making them one of the best-selling acts in music history. All right, let's have a little look at the videos. I know what's going to happen here. Guns N' Roses always detune their guitars one semitone down. So if you'll just permit me a moment, I'll pause and retune. This is that video that's in black and white, and it seems to be some footage of a sound check in a stadium. And I feel like it might have been when they were touring with Aerosmith, doing these huge shows in the late 80s. Glorious stadium rock. How do I love thee? Let me count the ways. 1. It's weird when it's an empty stadium, but full of people. Once the punters come in, it absorbs a lot of the echoes. Sounds a lot better. I don't think stadiums are actually designed for rock, but rock was designed for stadiums. Know what I mean? I've always loved this opening lick. That bit there's the coolest. Sorry, I'm not very well tuned here. I'll pause again. I'll be honest with you, my guitar's not used to being detuned like that. I always go for standard tuning. I suppose that's the opening refrain that that those journalists were citing as being like the greatest thing in the world, and then 6 minutes of no other ideas. Well, how many more ideas do you want? That's just legendary, that. This is when Steven Adler was playing drums for them. Steven Adler still does touring with, he's got this fella that is called Ari, who sounds exactly like Axl used to back in the day. And he plays all those sort of iconic drum parts, and every feel is exactly the same. Some of the tempo fluctuates a little bit, and it's crazy, but it works, it's really exciting to watch. Take me down to the paradise, with the grass is green and the girls are pretty. One of those backing vocals is really prominent, but it's very low. Take me down to the paradise city where the grass is green and the girls are pretty. Oh, won't you please let me home? Like that is a guy. Take me down to the paradise. It's really low like that. Take me down to the. Take me home. Please take me home. Yeah, he is. Take me down. Take me down to the paradise city where the grass is green and the girls are pretty. Oh, won't you please take me home? Imagine being in a gig and sort of walking up to the mic. Take me down to the paradise city where the grass is green, girls are pretty. Oh, won't you please take me home? You hear that? That guitar sound is it's really, I mean, it's a famously a Gibson for a Marshall, and what I love about Slash's approach to the Les Paul is that when he's playing like lead stuff, he tends to put it on the rhythm pickup, which is the bassier kind of version of it, and then when he plays rhythm, he sticks it on the treble. It's upside down, but that sound there when he's sort of hitting these chords. It saturates in a really particular way. It doesn't sound like as organic and valvey as a Marshall Mark II. It's definitely something along the lines of a JCM 800, something like that. Which those guitars, those amps rather, are so reliable. I've always enjoyed playing through those. I used to have a JCM 800 combo, which never let me down. Always made me sound like Slash, and that's a good thing. Here comes my favourite bit of guitar playing. So what's cool about this is, okay, so the first chord is G. C, F, C, G. More or less. I mean, I think this is probably a C9 because it has this in it. And then the F is probably like a F6, G, C9, G, straight G. So it's in G. But then when he starts doing the lead stuff up here, that's all in the E minor pentatonic scale. And why does it work, kids? Well, I'll tell you. It's because E minor is the relative minor of G, and the thing's in G. So you can always get away with doing some sort of bluesy stuff in the E minor pentatonic scale. Nobody knows that better than Slash. He might even be the person that discovered that. It's really funny to see Slash walking around with his iconic top hat on. I did hear a story once that, you know when sometimes like newspapers with a lot of budget will do like a sort of fashion-based editorial using people that aren't generally considered models, as it were. And they had a lot of musicians come in. Slash rocked up in his civvies, just waiting to be told what to wear. And apparently the stylist looked at him like this. Okay, this is, yeah, it looks good, but try this a second. And then reaches into a box and hands him an enormous top hat, to which everybody eye-rolled. So now it's gone to... That's G minor pentatonic. For the main, for the main riff. And I think one of the things that people forget about Guns N' Roses is the way the records are arranged. There's only two guitars, one far left, far right, and it's Izzy Stradlin on the right. And Slash is over on the left. Until the lead stuff happens, and then he's sort of driving down the middle usually, or they'll pan it around for whatever effect they're trying to achieve there. That puts it firmly in AC/DC territory, really. Obviously, the riffs don't sound like AC/DC. They're probably a bit more complex than that. But there's not much in the way of sort of precision between the two guitars. They're completely different sounds, and they're playing slightly different parts when the rhythm stuff's happening. There are times when they don't make any effort to play the same thing, and it's really exciting. It sort of gets punky in a way. And I always feel like that's where the sort of perceived punk influence from Guns N' Roses comes. It's like the almost sort of haphazard approach to the guitar arrangements, really. And what I love about this is, whilst they're not pretending that this is their gig, this is a daytime slot on a stadium show. People kissing in the crowd, they're having a great time. Oh, somebody's trying to get up on the stage. Guns N' Roses is one of those bands that I wish I'd been I wish they'd have come into my life when I was a little bit older, and then I could have afforded to go and see them on Appetite for Destruction. We've had the pleasure of playing with them a few times, but this must have been amazing in those days. Okay, now it's gone up a tone there. So he's probably going to be playing in an A minor pentatonic there. Yep. And then it goes back down to G. So before that middle eight, the so far away, it's the chord sequence goes like a. Then it goes to. Then back down to G. And this. Years ago I read an interview with Slash, and he was saying that his favourite AC/DC song was the Down Payment Blues. That's from the album Power Age, and it has this section where it goes from A chord to another chord that's a tone up. I'm not quite sure what key it's in, but to my ear that's what it does. And I feel like this is the closest example in Guns N' Roses oeuvre, in the Guns N' Roses oeuvre of Slash taking direct influence from that song that he said was his favourite. A lot of people say that Down Payment Blues is their favourite because of the lyric and what that song means. But in fact, there's a musical nod to it here in Paradise City, which I've only just noticed. This is another sort of AC/DC. So this bit could be it's a little bit AC/DC as well. AC/DC-esque, rather. And then when he comes back down, Slash's part goes into a harmony on the. So I think he's playing it up here some. So the effect of it is something like. Something like that. Ah, and there it is. It's the Axl. He's doing the dance again, guys. It would be remiss of me to not do it. Right. Take me down to Paradise City where the grass is green and the girls are pretty. Won't you please take me home? Take me home! You get the picture. There's that cool phrase in E minor again. I love the way Izzy looks like he's Keith Richards, and Slash is just doing something completely different. So I always think that like a good and distinctive lead guitarist is just as effective as having a great singer. And Guns N' Roses have both of those things. We're driving it home now. Oh my God, kick it off. And spinning around in like a whirling dervish. God. High kicks, all sorts. This is where it becomes clear that this video is actually an amalgamation of several different outdoor performances from one summer, most probably, because there's bits when they're not wearing the same clothes and actually the surroundings don't look like a stadium. For the eagle-eyed music enthusiast, you might even be able to geographically guess where these shows were. I just haven't got the time for that sort of thing. Oh, go on then. No, I think that was Duff McKagan wearing an Aerosmith t-shirt there. Like at the skinny jeans! Hey, you like the skinny jeans? Something like that. Oh, I love that last bit there. Little bit of guitar playing. So he finishes that sort of epic piece of lead stuff at the end with a... And he bends it up, and the reason why he does that is because he's playing in the... He's doing all that stuff in G minor, right? And then he finishes on the note that determines it to be a minor, which is the minor third. But the key of the song is major. So what he does is he bends it up to G. Was it? No, what's that? Sorry. To actually up to a B, which resolves the chord and determines that yes, indeed, we are in a major key. And I love it when guitar solos do that. A lot of Angus's do that as well. You can really hear the AC/DC influence in the sort of minutiae of the guitar partery, but beyond that, it's quite well concealed, I think. All right, amazing stuff. That's Guns N' Roses in a nutshell. Justin Hawkins rides again. Feels weird to play that in the on a detuned guitar. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, watch one of these two videos, and see you on the ice.